200 likes, and it was like 1,000 likes. Because at this point I've got nothing to lose. I'm already in the jail cell. Yeah, I mean, burnout's a real thing, and like I said, big up anyone that can kind of manage that. I can do that in the morning, then making my bed's easy. I think that everyone should be doing something every single day that makes them feel uncomfortable.
You're listening to The Grind Podcast in association with Ultrasport, the home of action sports and outdoor. Stay up to date by following us on Instagram and TikTok at The Grind Pod.
There we go.
Can I do the intro music?
You can do what you want. There you go.
Then when it drops, you introduce yourself.
Okay.
Here we are in the studio.
This isn't the intro music I'm going for.
No, cut it.
Okay.
I've always wanted to use that.
You've got all sorts in there. You got...
Yeah.
So we'll turn that off. So welcome to the very first episode of The Grind.
Thank you.
Thank you for being the first ever person.
Absolutely, my pleasure. We've had an amazing day out there in the sun, so it's a nice way to kind of wrap it up.
How's your arms feeling?
Pumped.
Ready to go?
In one word, yeah. My girlfriend's going to be like, where have you been?
Been to the gym all day, every day.
I've been curling, babes.
Nice. So, like I say, welcome to the very first episode of The Grind.
Thank you.
SUAT.
Yes.
DJ SUAT.
Yes. I like SUAT, to be fair.
Yeah?
I don't want to be limited to just a DJ, although I am just a DJ at the moment.
Predominantly DJ. Fellow DJ. So where did SUAT, where did SUAT come from? What is that?
SUAT is my middle name. I am Turkish, Cypriot, so my name is Zachary Suat Sabri, and it came from like when I used to get drunk and party, basically, and my mates would say, oh, Suat's out.
The alter ego.
The alter ego, the extension of my personality, the saying things that perhaps you shouldn't say, but because you're drunk, you're going to say them anyway. And that was how it came about, and I was kind of starting the route to becoming a DJ, and I thought, why don't I just call it SUAT? Like, it's memorable. I like the fact that it's got 2 vowels, 2 consonants, and it's like square, so it looks good when it's written in capital letters. And then I was like, yeah, this is a brand, let's go with this. And that was probably about 7 years ago.
So is that when you kind of all started DJing?
Yeah, it started DJing 7 years ago, and at the start it was, just mixing cheesy music, what I would call cheesy music, sing-alongs and pop, basically, is what I would mix.
Spent too much time in pop world.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Have you been in a pop world at all?
When I was a bit younger.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that.
Sticky floors.
Yeah, everything's sticky. I actually have sticky hands from the motocross sweat. But yeah, so I started DJing maybe seven years ago, and at the start it was just very much because my mates were doing it, and it was something to do. And kind of like when you're at that stage in your life, drinking, partying, if you can mix, I don't know, you kind of had the edge compared to the guys that couldn't mix, basically. I'm referencing pulling girls, basically. So that was kind of like the tool at the time. It was like, if we can mix, we're already cooler than these guys who are just standing there.
Go to a house party and you're the guys in the corner that put the music on.
Too right. But what it actually ended up being was not a girl magnet. It becomes a boy magnet. Because the boys are crowding around you going, bruv, what tune's that? And
then they're in your pocket.
Yeah, and it's funny actually because like I'm friends with some of the big DJs in house music right now, and like it's funny like what people's perception of being a DJ is versus the reality, right? People think it's like flying around on jets, loads of babes around you, supermodels, and the coolest parties. And what it actually is like, economy class EasyJet.
Lots of travel.
Lots of travel and loads of blokes.
Yeah.
So if you see the raves at the moment, it's just like a sea of 18-year-old boys, which is cool, but
Everyone getting off their head and just loving life.
Yeah, for sure. But mainly guys, 90% guys.
Yeah, all the films, what's it called? Not Eyeball Pool. Kevin and Perry Go Large, you know.
Yeah, that was it. Like that was my real probably exposure to like actually what a DJ is. I probably watched that film when I was maybe 10 or 11, right? And at that point, I think they were mixing vinyl and stuff like that. And I didn't really clock that DJs played in clubs to like thousands of people.
Yeah.
I thought a DJ was kind of like a radio presenter in a way, which I kind of guess it originally was. It was disc jockey, right? So it's someone that's selecting tunes and you're listening to it.
Yeah, I only found that out last year.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember what I was listening to, but somebody said disc jockey. Oh, I was watching the Jimmy Savile thing, so not the best thing, but I was like, oh shit, like disc jockey.
Yeah.
That's where it's all come from.
Yeah. Well, I know it's not perhaps appropriate to mention Jimmy Savile, but he is an iconic figure in the DJ world. So
Might just bleep that a little bit.
he's
an icon.
Yeah,
He's
he's an
definitely
icon,
not an icon.
but you can have bad icons and good icons, can't you? And
100%.
like, if you see a photo of that guy, regardless of what he's done, you probably know who he is.
Yeah, for sure. So, at the minute you live down south,
Yeah.
Maidstone, and if
Not
you,
Maidstone.
Ah,
The reason why we're not saying Maidstone, right, is because I had just moved house and we went out the first night I'd ever been out in Maidstone and I got assaulted.
you punched someone.
No, I didn't punch anyone. I got smashed in the face by some random guy completely unprovoked. And so since then, I've never said that I live in Maidstone because that's the kind of reputation that it gives you. Anyway, let's carry on.
So right now you live in Maidstone, and have you always been from down there?
Always been from down south. Yeah, I grew up in Surrey. So I went to Caterham School for secondary school. Really nice
Where's
school.
Caterham?
Caterham is in Surrey. It's a place called Caterham within Surrey. It's like near Croydon,
Okay,
basically,
yeah.
just outside of outer London. But really good school, really good friends growing up, and I've always I've never felt the urge to do city life. I went to Imperial College in London for university, and that was very like London based, living in like Fulham and Chelsea and just extortionate parts of London, and I never even wanted it when I was there. I just wanted to go to the uni, and now obviously I don't have any ties to the university. I'm really happy to just be in the countryside where I basically grew up.
Nice. But now you're the other side of London.
Yeah, I'm Kent side now, so like it's even more countryside than where I thought that where I grew up was countryside, but now where I live is definitely countryside. If we don't want to, we won't see another human.
Yeah, that sounds ideal.
We won't see another human.
I'm all about the countryside and just
For sure. Just
happy just doing my own thing.
yeah, just the air and the quality of life is so good in the sticks, basically. The water tastes good. It's less like, and I notice when I go to work in Manchester, the water, you can taste the difference because it's a city water, right? It's heavily, I guess, processed or whatever. Little things like that, like just having peace and quiet, not having traffic noise by you. Like these are all things that, as I've gotten older, and it makes me sound like a grumpy old man, I really appreciate that shit.
I'm all for that. Like, people think that I am a very grumpy, miserable old bastard. But I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy doing my thing. I'm quite happy living where I live.
Yeah.
With the dogs, with my missus. Like, I'm happy with that.
For sure.
I don't need a big city life. I don't need to be going out all the time. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, and it's like it's like having the fast paced life, but at what cost? Like, I think there's this stereotype that you've got to move to the city to make it big. But firstly, like, what is making it big? Like, your big is different to my big.
Cash money.
Exactly, but that's not making it big.
No.
Like, making it big to me is, and to all of the successful people that I speak to, is having a great work-life balance, having, fruitful relationships that are business ones, that are, social ones, that are love relationships. And if you can balance that and make ends meet, then that is that's success to me.
Yeah.
Not, grafting at work 24/7, 7 days a week, losing your hair. I mean, ironic that we've both lost our hair.
Both folders. Yeah.
But yeah, and I was always kind of going for like, I got to make it hard and fast, got to move to the city. And now that I'm where I am now, I realize what's valuable in life.
Did you ever live in the city?
I lived in Fulham and Waterloo, so I would get probably not. I mean, people wouldn't say that that's actual city, but like for example, when I was at uni in Waterloo for the first 2 years, like there were rumors of like machete fights that would happen like basically on the block next to us, and it's like, this is meant to be like an upmarket part of London, and there's like gangs everywhere, and it's like, yeah, it's a headache to get anywhere. It's expensive to get anywhere.
It's expensive for anything.
Anything's expensive.
It's insane. You say you're talking about people earning good money in London. Yeah, you go to London to make it and earn good money, and then you going out every night and spending fucking £7 a pint on.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, like granted, you might work in London and earn more, but that is offset and more by the costs of living there. And even if you're commuting every day, like I have some friends that live local and they commute on the train, that's not a life. You know what I mean? Spending an hour and a half to work, an hour and a half back from work in a cramped space with a load of inconsiderate people. Well, that's the way I see it. My last train experience, we were talking about it earlier. It was horrible. I felt sick the whole journey because everyone around me was making me feel sick because it's such a sensory overload. And if you're not used to that, like us country boys.
No, I can't stand public transport, the train. I just get I freak out a little bit. I don't like loads of people. I don't like busy places. I'd quite like...
Make the train longer and you can fit more people on it and then it's less cramped. Yeah.
Cleaner, they're pretty grim.
Yeah, and I'm the type of person that will need to desperately go to the toilet when I can't.
On the train, on a plane, in a queue.
Yeah, and it will always be the busiest day and the hottest day that I really am desperately about to have an emergency in front of everyone. So let's move on from why we don't like trains.
So... You're a very bubbly, very energetic, full of life kind of person. When you were at school, I have the impression that you were probably fairly similar to me. I'm very different now to how I was at school, but I would imagine that you'd get told off a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was SUAT like at school?
Or Zach at school.
Zach, sorry.
Because SUAT was kind of discovered in like maybe 17, 18. Zach at school was the type of student that would specifically get requested to not be put in other people's classes by parents.
Nice.
Like one of my earliest memories is, you know where you stick your arm under there and like make a fart noise?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, maybe you don't, but...
100%.
I'm the pro at it. I would do that in class when I was probably maybe 6 or 7 because it was at preschool, and I got caught doing it, and the teacher was like, "Don't do it." And then I did it again, and she was like, "Don't do it." So she basically excluded me for the whole lunch break and told me to do it as many times as possible. And obviously, like I've taken this with serious.
It's a challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. Like don't challenge me because I'll meet you there. And then, but she stupidly put me in a classroom that faced onto the playground. So like my mates are like queuing up outside watching me just like, hit 1001, 1002, 1003. So that's kind of my earliest memory. But I would say Zach at school or SUAT at school was a class clown. Distraction to himself, distraction to students. And I was doing if it didn't interest me, I was doing anything to distract others and myself away from the topic. Now, you put me in maths class, physics class, biology class, chemistry class, I'm the top of the class. But if I'm doing something that doesn't interest me...
You're out of there.
And I was obviously immature, so I didn't have the consideration for anyone else around me. So like an example was like, I've been kicked out of classes, sent to the headmaster's office and whatever, and there was this phase where we were really into like making paper planes, but masterpiece paper planes.
Yeah,
like
spend some time
folding it with a ruler, using like 120 GSM paper. That's like that's just expensive, especially for being in year 7. And and the PE teacher was just like being a bit of a pain, being quite combative to me. So I like made this paper airplane, and everyone in the class knew I made the plane. And when she looked away, I threw it. Everyone was watching me, she looked away, and as soon as I got the green light from my mate, I'd throw it. And this is just the karmic effect. It goes up around the classroom, a nice swoop because I've engineered this plane for about the last 10 minutes, not doing my PE work, and it just smashes her in the back of the head.
Nice.
And the whole class went silent, like, what is this teacher about to do? She's going to freak out. And yeah, she sent me straight to the headmaster's office, and I had to really explain what it was.
It was an engineering...
That's what I said to him.
Yeah,
I said this is because I was doing some research, and like this is one of the planes that had the longest flight time at like the paper aeroplane world records.
Championship.
Yeah, and so I think some teachers really saw in me the quality to kind of be positively obsessive about things and like really perfect things. But if it didn't interest me,
you're dumb.
You don't want me in your class.
No, it's funny. We found at home, like some old reports from my year 1 and year 2 and year 3 and year 4, and everyone was like, has great potential, just gets distracted.
Yeah.
Like if he stopped pissing people off in class, because all I would is just, like it's a very similar thing. If it doesn't interest me, if I'm bored with it, I am done. I'm clocked out.
And that's a really important thing. Like, not even, pardon me. And that's a really important thing, not even at school, but throughout your whole life. It's like, sure, you can do a job that earns you money and, you know, pays for your expenses. But if you don't truly enjoy it, then you're always going to have that thing. You're always going to have 100%. That thing that you're either a disruption to the workplace, or, you know, you're moody at work, and so I say to people, like, it's really important to, like, not rush it, but spend time finding the things that you love. And,
100%.
And if you don't actually know what that is, experience more stuff, because you might be going, well, I didn't like pottery, I didn't like BMXing. Well, there's so many options out there. So experience, and so that's why people often, I believe, find themselves when they go traveling.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because they get exposed to this whole wide world of all these different possibilities and food types, and they become inspired by what's out there. But I feel like the people that are the people that just kind of potter through life on the path that they think they need to be on because their parents said it, or because they'll never be happy.
No, not like deep down. I think you can go through life and, like, say, feel that you're 35, 40, 50, that you've worked the same job for the last 30 years or whatever it is. And you think, oh, this is what happiness is. But I think actually once you try different things, go off and do different things, my missus gets so pissed off with me because I am constantly, like,
Flitting,
doing different bits and pieces. Like, 1 minute I'll be a motocross rider, the next minute I'll be a mountain bike guy, the following week I'll be doing this or I'll be doing that. And it's like this podcast. So she has a podcast as well. And then I've been talking about this for years. Like, I've been thinking, like, I just want to do something else. I don't know what, I don't know why I want to do it, but, like, I've always been into messing around with videos, taking photos, all this kind of stuff. And I was just like, do you know what? Fuck it. What have I got to lose? I'm going to talk to people. I know a fair few people in different industries,
got a great network
in different areas. So it's like, look, let's talk to people, find out more things. And as you go through, you'll pick up things and speak to people and find out that you go paragliding with a fucking DJ rig. Like, maybe let's go paragliding. You know, next week I might be a paraglider.
Yeah, exactly.
But we'll see.
Yeah, I think it is a balance. Like, obviously, one of the traits of highly successful people is consistency and staying focused. But it's hard to do that if you don't truly love what you're doing. And so the other side of it is that type of person that, you know, 1 minute they're a builder, next minute they're, you know, and they're doing all of these things, but that person often lacks the consistency and focus. But I believe, like, when you can strike that middle point between something that is consistent and also experimenting, that's true. That's where true happiness evolves from. Because, like, we don't want to be slaving away at work for our whole lives. Now, if you can find something that doesn't feel like work, then that's the sweet spot.
100%. So, a bit of an arsehole at school, self-admittedly.
You said that.
Honestly, I was exactly the same. Speaking to my mum, and if I ever bumped into a teacher at school, they're like, yeah, you were that dick at school. Hold my hands up. Different person now, so that's absolutely fine. So did you, at school, because I remember I was very lucky. I went to a really good school. Didn't make the most of it. I loved school for one thing, pretty much in sport and actually my mates. That's pretty much the only thing I went to school for.
Yeah.
I did a lot of music at school. So I was lucky I got a music scholarship to go to school, which was awesome.
What for? Did you play the piano or something?
Drums.
Do you?
Drums and saxophone. Not anymore. It's been a long time. So did school get you into music? How did the love for music kind of come about?
Yes, no, school didn't really get me into music, to be honest. I tried guitar, like, at my primary school, and again was more interested in making the teacher laugh or the other student laugh than actually getting good at guitar. So I wouldn't practice. You know, do you play guitar? Oh yeah. Like,
you had an electric guitar, like, in your room, and just
I wouldn't even strum it. I just look at it. I just it's
cool.
That's my identity over there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, to be honest, like, music was always a part of my life, but never on a level of I could do this for a living. It was more to enjoy it. And year 7, so just the start of secondary school, it was very much like heavy metal, Bullet for My Valentine, Slipknot, that kind of thing.
Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, sure. Like head-banging music that I listen to now, and I'm like, wow, who mixed that track? That's just so harsh.
Do you know what? I listen to in the gym, like I have Limp Bizkit radio, and it's just all of Limp Bizkit, Blink-182, all that kind of stuff, and I just find it amazing in the gym.
Yeah, like I don't mind like the Blink-182, like Sum 41, like punk kind of rocky stuff. But some of the stuff I used to listen to, I listen to it now. I'm like, did I actually like that, or did I just think that was what I was supposed to like?
Well, like super heavy,
like just horrible, just like screaming down the microphone. Went to a concert, and like because I wanted to appear like I'd properly been to a concert, I faked some stitches on my eye, and we'd been headbanging all night. Me and my mate Harry, we'd been headbanging all night so much because we wanted to tell all the girls at school that we'd basically been to a Bullet for My Valentine concert, that we literally couldn't even hold our necks up the next day. So we were all in school, and I faked a stitch. Anyway, that's a complete secret that I shouldn't have told. But yeah, you know, I've always been into music. Not necessarily, it's not one of those stories like my mother from the age of 10, you know, got me into hard techno. It's none of that. It was on. I liked music and enjoyed it, and would always, I don't know if you remember CDs, but if you got like a deluxe CD, it would have the lyrics in the thing. So I got really good at like remembering lyrics, like, Black Eyed Peas and like...
Well, Elefunk.
Oh yeah. Oh, that album's sick. You know, the Black Eyed Peas is some of the most timeless music ever, because you can listen to it now and it's still good, and it's still mixed well and mastered well.
I've got it on my Spotify in the car.
Do you? Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. My sister, she is so into music, and those are some of the songs that you just get her so hyped. Bless her. And so yeah, but like I said, music was never. I never looked at music going, I can make a career out of this, because I wouldn't class myself as a musician.
You're in the wider musician, I guess.
Sure.
But it's like we were talking about earlier. I feel that nowadays you can make a career out of music without being a stereotypical musician. You don't have to be a pianist. You don't have to do all of that shit. You don't have to be in a band.
Yeah.
You can make a career out of the music category.
For sure.
And do it a different way.
For sure, yeah. And I was having this conversation with another DJ the other day, like the best guitarist on the planet no one's ever heard of.
Sure.
He's through and
Who
through.
is it?
I know him. I do. He's a guy called,
really?
There's a guy called Leo, yeah. Well, in my opinion, the best guitarist I've ever met, right? And sorry if he's watching this, because this doesn't sound nice, but my point is that the most skilled musician people haven't heard of, but it's more than that, to become a superstar and to become this like global phenomenon. And so like, you know, the guys in Guns N' Roses might be good guitarists, but they're not the best guitarists on the planet.
Yeah.
And because that's not all what it takes. And at the same time, I'm not the best DJ, I'm not the best selector, but I've combined it in a package that allows people to access it to the point where, you know, I have fans. But yeah, so I wouldn't class myself as a musician, and it never really occurred to me that one could make a living from music. I kind of thought like, you know, you had to get a record deal, and you had to be a really talented at either the guitar or the piano. And I wasn't even interested in it. You know what I mean? Like when I was at secondary school, I wanted to be a doctor. And yeah, I wanted to be a neurosurgeon.
Oh shit.
I applied for 4 unis for medicine.
Is that in the family?
Not at all.
No?
Not at all. My dad was a banker. My mum cares for my sister. And that was the motivation. Like, my sister suffers from cerebral palsy, which is a brain condition from birth. So it's never been any different.
How old is your sister?
She is 24, 25 now. And that was my real motivation at the time. I was like, if I can be at the forefront of cutting edge technology and neurosurgery, neuroscience, then maybe I can make something that fixes my sister. And so I applied for medicine at 4 places, and then I applied for bioengineering at Imperial. Went to interviews for the 4 medicines, and I was a weed smoker at the time. I was not doing the right things. I was not hanging around with the right people. So I flopped all of those interviews. And the fifth one, Imperial, which wasn't medicine, was bioengineering, let me in. And that's why I went there in the first place. But yeah, that was the motivation.
So life could have been very different.
It could have been very different, you know. And I ended up dropping out of uni because I didn't have any friends and I was going to flop the course. And I remember my mum and dad being like, what the fuck have you... Sorry, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Being like, what the hell have you done? You've grafted to get into these unis. Like, you had to get... just to give you an idea of the Imperial College course, my entry requirement to get in was 2 A stars, 2 A's for A level.
Just anything.
To get into the course I was on, the entry requirement was 2 A stars, 2 A's. So most people take 3 A levels. So the requirement was already 4 A levels and 2 of them A stars. Yeah. So it was.
Did you get that?
I took 5 A levels. I got 5 A's. So because of that,
it's not all just looks.
And so I'd worked really hard to get into there, but I kind of lost my way when I was there and I dropped out. Anyway, my mum and dad obviously were like, what the fuck are you doing? You've squandered this opportunity. And that was kind of when I found DJing. And obviously what you do when you drop out of uni, you know, you still got your student loan. I was around my mate's house. He had a pair of decks. I was like, buy now. Bought a pair of decks with the remaining student loan. And then I fell in love with DJing. And it was kind of one of those things like, well, I might as well spend this money.
Yeah, you've got it. It's free money.
It's
Monopoly money.
It's free money. They're still trying to contact me asking for that. Don't they know I don't pay that?
It's funny you sort of say about, dropping out of uni. I can imagine your mum and dad being pretty pissed about that. I remember when I went to college for a year, dropped out of college after a year. And I remember getting my GCSE results and I'd gone through school sort of not really giving a shit, and I remember getting my GCSE results and it was like, fuck. Like I might have ballsed this up a little bit. I got asked by my school not to come back for sixth form, which was a bit of a, okay, fair enough, fuck you. I'm not going to come back. And then all my mates stayed on and everything. But I remember sort of getting my GCSE results and being like, fuck, I've
ruined my life.
Yeah, kind of. But I think one of the things is you go through school and you're deciding your GCSEs at age 13 or 14, whatever it is, and you're led to believe that these 7, 8 subjects are going to change your life. Like if you don't do well in your GCSEs, that's it. You're done. And I can imagine that when you're dropping out of uni, you're thinking, oh shit.
Same thing, but even further on.
Yeah.
It's funny you say you got kicked out because me and probably about...
I didn't get kicked out. I got asked not to come back.
Same here.
Asked not to come back. I didn't get asked to leave. Asked not to come back.
Same here. Because there's like an official declaration that has to go on when they actually physically suspend someone, right? Or expel someone. So me and about 20 other guys all got asked to not come back to my year. For some context, was getting involved in some trouble with drugs and the police, and I got arrested, and it went kind of not viral, but it went locally viral on Twitter and stuff like that. And the school found out, and they basically said, "Look, this is your last year here. You got to go. We don't want a criminal at the school." Bear in mind, like it's like you said with yours, quite a nice private school. So like if the parents catch wind, they'll pull their children out. It was that kind of place, and loved the education that I got there. But ultimately, they asked me to leave. So like you can imagine what me and 20 other boys, we were all like the closest of mates, how we reacted when we got asked to leave. We were like, well, if they want us to go, we'll show them. Yeah. So like.
Now, do you ever like see any of your old teachers anywhere and think, you know what?
I saw one of my old teachers, my old head of sixth, a couple of years ago now. He was like, I've seen what you've been doing on the internet. And he still said it in a condescending way. I was like, you're a bit bitter about that, aren't you? Still? But yeah, like this is an example of how fuck the system we were, or F the system we were. We had a sixth foot, we had a year 11 area where we would hang out, and we knew that the year below us, we're going to get that new area, because when you leave for exams, you're not at school. So the area gets donated to the lower year. And we were like, we're not having that. So basically we went to Morrison's, we went to a supermarket, went to the fishmonger, separately, each one of us, and we said, okay, I'll have an octopus and I'll have 5 mackerel or whatever. You know, we each went to the this is exclusive. And we each basically bought some raw fish.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, like there used to be these things that it's like a slingshot. You can put it between your legs, and you load it with snow and you fire snowballs. Anyway, so on our last day, not only did we, you know, did all kinds of stuff, like we bought 10,000 BBs and chucked them down the stairs. And, you know, I don't know if you've ever picked up one BB, but
It's a fucking
it's
pain,
a pain in the arse. So imagine
yeah.
like 10,000. Anyway, so we were doing stuff like that. And on the last day during lunch, we loaded up this slingshot, okay, and fired it over the 6-story building. Octopuses. So
Nice.
it's raining octopuses on like year 7s and 8s.
Yeah, cool.
And still to this day, like that's something I would do. Not in a malicious way, but just because I've built my career off of doing things that other people won't or wouldn't.
It's not going to hurt anyone. It's just going to fucking
No,
stink.
it's just going to stink and it'll give you a slap in the face and like, you know, you'll remember it and you'll remember me. And that's kind of what I try and do now is I try and like leave an impression on people that I meet in public. If it's, you know, a 70-year-old that's, you know, that I've engaged with, or a 5-year-old that goes like, that's really cool. Like ultimately, like I want to leave an impression. I think that that's the underlying theme through, you know, me getting involved with the police and me, you know, playing up at school, and all of these things are trying to like leave an impression on someone. Some people might call that attention seeking.
I think it's
both.
yeah. So when you got into DJing sort of 17, 18, things like that, and what was it like trying to? How did it kind of start? Were you're in your mate's bedroom doing a bit of DJing on the decks, and then just started filming some stuff? I want to know how, because when you look at your content now and what you do, it's very specific. So what was the turning point from DJing to being a mobile DJ and paragliding? Because that was the first place I ever saw you was that paragliding video.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What, the one in the Alps?
Yeah,
the snowy one.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a GoPro video. Maybe GoPro posted it.
Oh, did they?
Maybe. I can't remember where I first saw it, but I first saw it, or they might have shared it or something. I can't remember. This is how old's that? Probably 3-4 years,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I first saw that and was like, "Holy shit! Like this is insane." And then obviously through Pit Viper as well. So how did it become?
Yeah. So about, let's say 6 years ago, the platform was Facebook. It was Facebook with a bit of Instagram. And I really remember that, like just being told that you need to network within the scene. So I would like add loads of DJs as friends and comment on their stuff just to, you know, be like a socialite, but on Facebook. And they kind of had just dropped, or live streaming was becoming a thing on Facebook. And what I noticed was a lot of these DJs who were doing touring and stuff like that were doing live streamed DJ sets. Albeit not the music that I liked, but they were basically setting the decks up in their bedroom, live streaming to like 5 people. And I instantly looked at that and went, that is not going to get any clicks because it's immediately uninviting, because it's like it's someone else's bedroom, it's dark, it's dingy, the DJ is not even talking to the audience. So straight away I was like, right, to get my name out there, I'm going to take these DJ decks that I have and like just take them to a random place.
Where was the first?
So the first one, I did it out the back of my car.
Nice. What car?
Audi TT RS.
Nice.
Yeah, a fast hairdresser.
Yeah.
And yeah, I parked it up on double yellows in my town, and I would never shit where I eat anymore, but it was in my town. And basically,
that's the real reason that dude punched you there.
yeah,
you were stood outside his house.
No, it was my old town, not my new town.
Okay.
And basically, that you could get this thing called an inverter, where you take the power from the cigarette lighter, and I use that to power my decks, and then I plugged the output of my decks into my car stereo. So it was like a club that you could drive around. I sat in the back, recorded a video, like, you know, just completely botched it together, and posted the video on the group. And like at that time, you had like your local town's Facebook group, And it was getting like 100 likes. And I was like, holy shit, that's a lot in like 10 minutes. And then it was 200 likes. And then it was like 1,000 likes. I was like, Christ, like, I'm famous.
Yeah.
And at the time, because it's all relative, right? At that time, when you've gone from not getting any likes to 1,000, you think that you think that you're
the man.
Beyonce. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm onto something here because my concept, my idea has worked. My idea was that this is uninviting doing it in your bedroom. So take the DJ out the bedroom and now you've got something that people are going to click on. This was 7 years ago. And I like to look at the state of the live music scene now and the DJ sets. Everyone's going out in public and DJing. Everyone's DJing with a nice backdrop, in nature or whatever. I like to think that I was the start or helping the start of that movement. So that was my first video in the car. And then I would go to like a quarry or somewhere remote, but nonetheless, the backdrop was not my bedroom wall.
Yeah.
And different every time. That was the key thing.
Yeah, because I imagine it's like the same shit, different day.
Exactly.
Same sort of music, same backdrop, same decks. No, I don't want to say personality, but it's just okay, I'm here to listen to some music. Why do I need to watch it?
For sure.
I don't need to watch this. Whereas a lot of the stuff that you do is different, like say, different backdrops, different places, different people, different outfits. Like everything's...
It's dynamic.
Insane.
It changes every set. And so that was the first set. And I thought I'd scratch something. And then I kind of started doing it in nature. And then I was like, okay, how am I going to elevate this even more? How am I going to boost the views? Now, no one knows SUAT 7 years ago. Everyone knows McDonald's. Everyone knows Burger King. Everyone knows Nando's because they're global brands. I was like, why can't I harness a global brand to get myself exposure? So I would literally walk into McDonald's with my decks under my arm and a long power cable with one of my mates there, and my mates were shit scared at this point. Like they had...
Yeah, I can imagine. Like I would, if one of my mates was like, oh, we're just going to go to McDonald's and cause chaos, I'd be like, not sure about this. I'm out.
Yeah. And so reluctantly, my mates followed me there. And I said to them, I was like, look, if you do something with conviction, people will think you're meant to be there. Walked in there, sat down, set the cameras up, right, let's go, we're live.
So this was streaming on Facebook?
Facebook was the primary platform at the time. And you can find them on my YouTube channel because I re-uploaded them, but yeah. And again, I was looking at the comments, engaging with people on the chat, because ultimately, like, in my opinion, being a DJ is more than just music. It's a performer, it's an entertainer, you have to have the connection with the crowd, so it's not just being a good tune selector. So I was engaging with people in the comments and shouting out Terry and her mum and all these different things, kind of developing these catchphrases in the early stages of SUAT. And the video did really well. I was like, Christ, I need to do this again next week. Okay, we're at KFC now. Okay, we're at Nando's now. And I kind of did like a little tour of like the fast food restaurants in the UK. And it was taking off. I mean, not to the level it is now, but it was taking off. And then people started doing that. And I was like, right, I'm onto something here. Like, not in an arrogant way. It was just observationally, it was objective.
Something just clicked that it was like this little...
This has worked.
Thing is working.
This has worked. And we take a look, I don't want to keep hinting towards this, but if we look now, people are doing sets in, fish and chip shops and all this stuff. And it's kind of like, that's what I created.
Yeah.
Lockdown hit, and I was already I was picking up a bit of momentum with like online streams. Like I had a stream outside the Houses of Parliament that went kind of viral, had some news coverage, and lockdown hit. And it was basically like, okay, well, I've done these stationary sets around. People know me for that. I would do it on like trolleys in supermarkets, like going through the supermarket, like shopping and DJing. And I was like, how can I turn this shit situation where we're stuck at home, where everyone's depressed, or where there's this uncertainty of a pandemic, into something positive? How can I like be there for the people and ultimately get myself exposure as well? So that was what happened. And I made basically, I cut the top of my desk, took the legs off it, cut it in half. So it was this thing like this, put my decks on it and sellotaped a tripod to it. And that was literally the first iteration of the mobile rig.
Of what you've got.
Of the mobile rig, yeah. And I strapped it around my neck. Agonizing pain to carry this thing because it wasn't balanced in any way, and I would just walk around a national park playing beats.
So this was during COVID.
This was during COVID, like at maybe I think it was April when was the pandemic? April 2020.
2020 when it started.
Yeah, so it was April 2020.
It's like 5 years ago now.
5 years ago now, yeah. And, you know, anyone that has a streak of success or something blow up in their face will know that they have a good idea, but you don't know how good that idea is until it's received, right? I mean, you hear about musicians saying that, you know, their greatest hits are the ones that they wrote in 5 minutes and they didn't even think that it was going to be received well. So I knew I had an idea, but I just didn't know how it was going to be taken. And then we were live, we're in the national park. My partner Lucinda goes, Zach, there's 1,000 people watching. I was like,
watching online.
Watching on live.
Wow.
On live at once, which at the time was like no one else in my peer group or any of my friends were getting those numbers.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap, 1,000. And then we're in the woods, obviously, and the connection cuts. And I was like, I was having a tantrum. I couldn't control myself at that moment in my life. Anyway, back online, and I thought, oh, it's fucked. The stream's gone dead. They're all gone. Went online again. She's like, there's 2,000 people watching. I was like, no way. I'm just standing here with my desk. Like literally yesterday, I hadn't created this thing. Now I've created it and there's 2,000 people enjoying it with me, saying like, this is a world first. Like, you know, and the comments are really indicative of people's emotion towards the thing. If people are saying stuff like that, it puts an energy in you that's like, this is you, go with it.
Crack on.
And
take it and run.
I take it and run. And that's what I did. And you know, here we are with an aluminium frame that's been optimized and perfectly balanced. This year I'm looking to do some motocross while DJing, ski while DJing, and do some whitewater rapids while DJing.
Fuck, like proper rapids.
Yeah, proper rapids. Yeah,
not rubber dinghy.
No. I'm just investing in some proper kayak equipment.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You say about sort of people commenting, and you sort of realize that you were on something. You know, we spoke earlier briefly about social media, the highs and lows and the benefits of it. You must have had some real nice things over the years, people commenting world's first and all the nice things, but I'm sure you've had some arseholes as well.
Do you know what? The percentage of people that comment positive stuff is super high. I'm lucky that I'm not doing stuff that's too kind of like political or kind of anything to really cause a stir. Like the ultimate goal of it, and my one-liner for all of this has been just trying to make you dance. And so on the whole, the feedback is really positive. Some videos will go viral that include police or security, or, you know, a fight in some way, whether that's someone starting on me or whatever. Now, those videos get taken out of context and people will comment things like, oh, you're just wasting, you know, critical workers' time and you're just doing this for attention. Now, they take it out of context.
But I think that's when you say that you're not doing everything that you do. There's nothing, you can't look at the stuff that you do. You might not like it, but you're never going to look at it and go, oh, I fucking hate this guy. Like, why? Or you look at it and go, I love it. But then I think, like you say, the minute you get something to do with the police or a fight or anything like that, like it's effectively like a political thing. It's a real serious thing. And that's when it divides people.
Sure.
I think if you were doing something, DJing for a certain political party rather than, or slagging off another political party, that's when you're going to get people that are really divided in what you think.
For sure.
Excuse me. When you say about police and arrests, I remember watching, I think it was on YouTube, one of your videos in Italy, which was when, 2 years ago?
Yeah, probably about that, 2.5 years ago. Yeah. And again, look, that video, I create edits and document every set that I do. And that video is probably one in about 100 or 200 that it just didn't go well. It went poorly and I ended up getting arrested.
The set?
Yeah. Like, it was just a case of like, I think they wanted to make an example of me not having permission to DJ in public. And so like they went fully to arrest me and take me to the station and stuff. It just so happens that people in the comments, half of them are going, why have they done that? This is so uncalled for. They should be spending their time elsewhere. And the other half of the comments are going, you're wasting police time. And so those people are kind of fighting it out in the comments, which is why...
Great for the algorithm.
Exactly, which is why it goes viral.
Yeah.
So people will come up to me and they go, "Oh, mate, I love the one where you're outrunning the police," but they haven't seen, all of the 101 other live streams that I've done that don't involve police, that is, making 80-year-olds dance or making 5-year-olds dance. And, it just gets massively taken out of context. But the goal has never been and never will be to go viral. The goal is to just make you dance in different environments. And that's what we're doing.
And that time in Italy, because you spent... Do you want to talk about it, or do you not?
Yeah, I'll talk about anything.
You because you spent a little bit of time in a cell.
Yeah,
right?
in custody. Yeah, and I'm the type of guy that
Did you give it all that on the mugshot?
No, I don't even remember them mugshotting me. Actually, I think they rolled my fingers and stuff like that. But I don't think, and I'm the type of guy that will try and get inside someone's head if I feel like I've been wrong done. So for no reason that I need to disclose on this, I know a lot about guns and models and issues and when stuff was created and all that kind of stuff. And so, I'm staring at the police officer because at this point I've got nothing to lose. I'm already in the jail cell, looking at his waist, and I tell him about the gun that's on his waist. And you can tell he's kind of freaking out, steps away from the bars. And then I'm kind of pacing around the room to make them think that I'm nuts and that they need to let me go immediately. And I was telling the police officer about the gun that was on his waist. And I know way more information about this gun than he even knows. And they're starting to kind of freak out a little bit. But, not to bad talk, because it makes me sound bitter about it. I'm not to bad talk, the Italian police, but that whole situation was completely blown out of proportion. And basically my team were looking for me. The police were saying that he's not here, and they were basically saying that I'm in different parts of the country, trying to
Do what?
Lead them on a wild goose chase. So my team's looking for me. We're in a foreign country, no one speaks any English.
How many of you were out there?
So it was my manager and my partner.
Yeah.
But they were just on a wild goose chase. They had no idea. They confiscated my phone. So I'm in the cell wondering what's going on, wondering if my partner's all right, because I left her at the scene, if you will. I didn't even know that she got home safe. You know what I mean? And thankfully, due to some skullduggery software, I took a GoPro into the cell with me.
I remember seeing the video.
And backwards recovered the stuff that they deleted. So dude, these guys are going 90 miles an hour on the opposite side of the road through the middle of Rome. It's nuts. If you haven't watched the video and you want to know what I'm talking about, check it out.
It is. Yeah, I remember watching that. Oh my god, this is edge of your seat stuff. This is like a full on movie.
Yeah. Look, and that's what I want to do. I love cinema. I love the whole storytelling process, and that's what I want to get into more of. Is that side of things. It just so happens that the time that I've told a story in that way, it was involving police, and it makes me look like a nuisance.
I don't know. A lot of people get in trouble with the police.
Yeah, exactly.
I've not, actually.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Not in this life.
No, some point I have. But so you were all good after that? Nothing, they just let you go? And
Yeah, they let me go. I had to basically give my passport in, and we just basically went back to the UK before doing so. So it's what it is.
I imagine it was actually pretty scary. I remember me and my dad, God, this is probably 18 years ago, my sister was doing a Spanish degree, and she had to do a year in a Spanish-speaking country. So she actually went to the Galapagos.
Wow.
Yeah, insane. And my dad at this time, we decided we would go and see my sister during school holidays. And we were in an airport called Quito. Quito, I think it is, in Ecuador. I might have got that wrong. And I'm sat there 13 years old, just playing on a computer. And he gets a call on the airport to say, can he come to the security desk?
Yeah.
So he goes to the security desk and they say, you need to come with us. And he gets marched across the runway with armed guards into a hangar. And in the middle of the hangar is his bag. In the middle of the hangar with sniffer dogs around. And they're going, is this your bag? And he goes, yeah, that's my bag. And they start pulling stuff out his bag. Is this yours? Is this yours? And it was at that time that my sister's friend said to my dad, oh, can you take this back for my mum and dad? So in his head, he's going, oh, fuck, they've given me a bag of cocaine. I'm going to spend the rest of my life in an Ecuadorian prison.
That's not where you want to be.
No. And so anyway, they didn't find anything. He came then back to me But I could imagine at that moment in his life, he was thinking, "Oh fuck! Like this is insane.
I'm going to be a headline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I imagine when you're sat in that cell, I can't imagine what you're thinking, but it's probably like, yeah, this is a bit nuts. Like I'm in a foreign country, not speaking the language. I don't know. Do you speak Italian?
Not at all.
No.
No. And as I've gotten a bit older, I've realized that, you should make an effort to try and learn some of the language if you're going to be in that country. But it was a case of like, there was no way of me communicating with these officers in any way to say, like they didn't offer me any water. And it was kind of like, okay, we're not in English terrain anymore.
They're just being arseholes.
Yeah, like they can take advantage of me in any way they want. If they want to prove a point, they're doing it right now. There was thousands of people at the Trevi Fountain where I got arrested, all booing the police.
I remember seeing the video.
And it's like, there's ways of doing things. And I just think that when you're in someone else's country, you don't know the rules, and it can quickly go tits up.
Yeah, for sure. So you obviously you post a lot, you do a lot of videos. What's the kind of one video, one set, one thing that you go, I'm fucking proud of that. That's good.
Probably there's two. There was the first time I kayaked, and it was like a 3-hour live stream. It was, walking around with the decks on, just to give some perspective, it's 35 kilos. So it's like basically half of my body weight that I'm carrying around extra while trying to smile, while trying to interact with people.
Be a happy bunny.
Yeah, while DJing. And so it was the first time we had kayaked, and we walked through Canterbury for like an hour and a half or whatever, then got on a bus. Then from the bus carried on walking to the kayak rendezvous spot, and then finished with like an hour kayak. So that was the first time I'd really done like multiple transport modes in a live stream that didn't go down. And we were kind of like, how are we even doing? People are messaging on the chat going, I can't even do a live stream on my Wi-Fi, and you're managing to do it while moving around.
Yeah.
And it was like, how are we doing this? Like, this is insane. I've always been a bit of a geek with like technology and like engineering and stuff. So like, I always have to understand how it works, and then I can maximize it. So that was one. But the real thing that stands out to me was when we did like the abseiling DJ set, because the guys were like, we can lower you down if you want. And I was like, no, like I need to be the one abseiling, because otherwise it's like
you just some bloke dangling.
I'm just a dangling, and I don't want to be a dangling DJ. So I was insistent that like I was lowering myself, and I was proud of that, and I think that how well a video performs online shouldn't dictate how proud you are of it. It's more like the internal satisfaction that led me to think that. So like, I'm scared of heights. Yeah. And I hadn't abseiled before that. So like they taught, they said, this is how you do it. And when I was doing it without the decks, I was shit scared. And then it was like, right, we're good. Let's get the decks on and go. And
I guess then your mind switches from the abseiling to the DJing.
Yeah.
And then you forget about the abseiling.
Yeah.
It's like, that's going to take care of itself.
For sure.
I just need to do the thing
That's
that I actually
automatic.
need to do. Yeah.
And people messaging me now going like, mate, I don't know how you do what you do. Like, where'd you get the confidence and stuff? And it's like, when I get the decks on, it's like a new energy channel.
Zach goes and SUAT.
Yeah, SUAT appears. Yeah, like a wild SUAT appears. Yeah, and it just gives me that energy. So that's the one I'm most proud of, because I conquered a fear. No one else had done it before, and and it was a great video, regardless of how well it performed.
And so, is a lot of the stuff that you do now? Do you still do a lot of live stream stuff?
Less recently. I've been doing other work. I work with some other DJs and do videography and that kind of thing. But it's coming back.
It's coming back?
It's coming back for sure, because like you get given different opportunities as you progress through life and as you kind of make a name for yourself. And I believe those opportunities are given to you to make you realize what your actual purpose is.
100%.
And so like, I work on a tech company at the moment. Like, if you want to learn how to make music, this is the platform for it. It's an app. It's a website.
Did you tell me about this?
Yeah, Syntho Hub.
That's it.
Yeah. So like, I've been working on that. Shout out Josh and the team at Syntho. And I love my work there. But when you work on something else, it makes you realize what your kind of divine purpose is. And it's definitely, you know, being SUAT and being that presenter and being that entertainer and kind of like a man of the people. And people ask me like, you know, like what is it that actually you like about doing SUAT? Is it the music? It's not the music. It's not the tourism.
Oh, sorry, one's gone off.
It's the connection with other people. And it's like, it's not even about me. It's about the other people in my videos that are the characters in this movie and their reactions to what I do. And
yeah, I think because the content that you create and what you do is very energetic. It's must be incredibly hard work. And I guess there's only so long that can go on for in your mind to be posted. I don't know, when you started, I imagine you were posted probably once a week.
Yeah.
And doing shit once a week. And now, like, to do that is not it takes a lot of...
Yeah, I lost love for it. I fell out of love with it. It lost its purpose. And when you're working with brands or when you're doing it for money now, there's different stakes and there's different hoops you have to jump through. But you have to go through this like full circle thing where it's like, I love it, I'm earning money, I hate it, I'm not doing it anymore. And now I'm kind of back to fall in love with it again. And so I'm very much at the start of like this new year. I know we're in
New year, new me.
March. Yeah, I just want to pick it up again and just like, you know, I love the beats. I love going out in public and getting people reacting and getting people moving. And let's do that again, basically. Let's fall in love with it again.
Good.
Should we change this?
Yeah, I'm just going to change that. Just give me 1 sec.
The minute that it starts to become a business and a way, like a living, you're making a living out of it, it can lose its creativity and its love and its direction, especially when on social media, right? You need to be posting 5 times a week, and it becomes almost like a routine, and it loses its spontaneity, or at least in my case, it did. I mean, props to those creators that haven't done that at any point in their career. Big up yourselves. But yeah, so it definitely lost that. Anyway, we're in April 2025, probably exactly 4 years on or 5 years on from when I started, and like now I'm a more well-rounded human. I'm ready to go again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I imagine it really takes its toll. At the start, it's amazing because you're getting all these views, getting all these comments, doing all this fun stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, fuck, I'm doing a lot here.
Yeah.
Working like a dog.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, yeah, you know, doing the editing, doing the posting, replying to comments, replying to messages, you know, doing stories and stuff. Like, I heard Mr. Beast talking about this. Like, it's only him that can be on film. So
it's not anyone else.
Yeah, he's the bottleneck. So as much as you've got an editor there, it's like, okay, well, when the video's edited, you need to film another one, and it's you that needs to be there. It's you that needs to be posting the stories, and you can employ someone to reply to messages and comments, but they need to then speak your language.
Yeah, they need to have the voice, I guess, don't they?
For sure. And at that point in my career, I didn't know what the voice was. I was deciding it as we went. So like, yeah. I mean, burnout's a real thing. And like, yeah, like I said, big up anyone that can kind of manage that and work through that. I'm there now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what's like the biggest high and the lowest low of the last 6-7 years of SUAT?
The lowest of lows, nothing to do with SUAT, would be losing my nan. That's like the real like heartbreak that I can that's the only thing that I can visualize would be that.
Were you close with your nan?
Yeah, I was close with my nan, and like especially in her final days, she was I was there for her a lot in her final days. She lived near me, so I would go around there and deal with her frustrations of not being able to remember things and like the dementia getting worse and all that stuff. And you know, like it was at a time when my mum said, you need to go and see her because like she's about to die. And I was like, fuck, like I was fucking around, you know, taking drugs, hanging around with the wrong people. And I promised her, like on her deathbed, I said to her, like, I'm going to make you proud, I promise, and I'm going to pay you back for the loan that you gave me and stuff. And I've never actually even thought about that until you just asked me then. And it was then that lockdown hit, and I started it, and like, I shouted her out on a radio interview I did the other day. I think I've made her proud, And so that was the lowest of low. But
I reckon so.
in a way, it's bittersweet because, like, although it was a low point, it's also like a pinnacle point and a turning point.
Sometimes you need that. I mean, I don't know how often you saw your nan, but
Yeah.
you know, my parents have said to me for so long, like, "Oh, you need to see your grandparents more. You need to see them." And you're like, "Yeah, I'll see them at the weekend, or I'll go around next month or whatever." And then all of a sudden, it's like, "Oh shit, they're not here anymore."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, fuck, I should have made a little bit more of an effort with that."
Yeah.
And so on the positive,
on the
highest of highs,
the highest of highs, you know, I think, like, it's hard to say. I think that a highest of high, and this isn't meant
biggest
to come
paycheck.
You know what? Like, I've been paid crazy amounts that I could never even imagine, and that doesn't make me happy.
No.
Because you've got more responsibility, you've got more eyes watching, more people to impress. When you more people from the brand to impress when you get up. So that shit doesn't affect me. I've been broke and I've been happy and I've been fucking loaded. I mean, relatively loaded, and been super down and depressed and smoking weed to kind of fill a void, even though I got money in the bank. So none of that. I think, and this isn't meant to come across as superficial, but the highest of high was when we moved into our house that we've just moved into, because it was kind of like the culmination of everything that we had done over this past 5 years had allowed us to move into this place that we absolutely adore, with the garden that we wanted, and, you know, the peace and quiet that we wanted. So not in a superficial way, because it was the symbolism of everything we'd worked for.
Is now a thing.
It is now a thing. And what I love most about it is that it wasn't public and no one else could kind of see that apart from me and my partner, who has been there from the very start. Shout out Lucinda Berry.
Shout out Lucinda.
But yeah, that, I mean, I'm not a superficial guy, and like I could lose all of the material right now. It's not the house that I love; it's the symbolism of what.
So you've worked hard over the last 6, 7, 8 years, and now all of a sudden you have a material thing, but it's like, okay, this is our home.
Exactly.
Now. We built this.
Yeah, we built this
home
together, and we can enjoy it together. And like even now, like I love my friends coming over so they can enjoy it with me. It's not about the house or the property or the monetary value of anything that I own or enjoy. It's what it symbolizes. The ability to, you know, from I would routinely run out of petrol because I didn't have enough money to fill up. So I would break down on the side of the road and have to fucking go and grab a jerry can from home, walk past to go to the petrol station, and then fill my car up. That's the level of kind of brokenness that I was at before lockdown. So it was that symbolism of kind of like overcoming like mental health problems, not problems, let me say that again. It was the symbolism of overcoming like mental health struggles, self-belief, self-doubt, into a place where now, okay, look at what we've built for ourselves, and like now it's time to actually take a step back and enjoy it. So that's definitely the high. It's
funny when you say about sort of mental health struggles and things like that. I think it's one thing. Like it was probably the main reason I stopped drinking was because I was getting mad anxiety attacks, and that's why I say I don't like airports or train stations and things like that, because I know if I'm in those places, I get really uncomfortable, and I can feel something in me that's like, I'm not happy here. I need to get out. So like if I ever go to London, I'm not on the tube. I'm not doing any of that shit, because I know that it ruffles me up. I'm like, no. Yeah. Stay way clear of that stuff. for me personally, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, some people like the hustle and bustle, don't they? Like being around loads of people. Maybe that's why they have to drink to bear it.
Maybe. And so what's a daily life? What, because I can't imagine you're filming and mixing and doing things on a daily basis. What are you doing on a...
Yeah, so at the moment, I'm really heavily involved in working on Syntho. So lots of meetings.
Nice. In the city?
No, on Zoom from the comfort of my house. Meetings. I care about my fitness. I try to wake up early. I don't know if you've ever read like 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma, but
I'm in that club.
I'm a strong believer of that lifestyle, and trying to just kind of seize the day and do something that makes you feel uncomfortable every morning. So I've recently in the last 12 months been getting into like cold therapy and like ice baths and stuff like that.
Oh, I got one for Christmas. I've been in it a couple of times. Tough.
It's tough, and that's the whole point. And you know, and I find it funny when people try and like they'll like get in the sauna and then get in the ice bath to like offset it to make it less comfortable. But the growth comes from it being fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Right. And like I really try and do it first thing in the morning. So like I'll be going to bed with anxiety about the ice bath in the morning.
Yeah.
But that's the exact reason why I do it. It's like if I can do that in the morning, then making my bed's easy.
Do you do it every day?
Yeah. Yeah, I did it every day to the point where I gave myself frostbite and had to stop doing it.
Fuck. Yeah, no, I've literally done it a couple of times, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it more in the summer. I will do it more in the summer
Because it's warmer.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, like, I think I did like 2 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And the minute you get out, you feel insanely good.
Yeah, you feel incredible. And what I always say to my friends, because I believe that anyone can harness the superpower of cold therapy, and ultimately the superpower is your mind, and overcoming that. So I've been to the Lake District in winter quite recently, literally just in December, with my mate who'd never ice bathed before. I said to him, like, by the end of this, you'll do 10 minutes in the lake. He was like, no, I won't. Like,
Whereabouts in the Lake District way?
where were we? Penrith.
Nice.
So like all around that area, like North Lake, so it's freezing. You know, frost on the ground, you know, ice. Obviously the water's not frozen, but and he went
Cold
from
as
doing
balls.
Oh, it's cold. It's cold. It's you're probably about 3 or 4 degrees. It's cold. And yeah, he went from doing like 15 seconds on the first day to 10 minutes on the last day. So I really believe, like, you know, if you can get yourself into a relaxed meditative state.
Meditative.
Yeah.
Meditative.
Yeah.
Meditative.
Yeah. Meditative state, then you can overcome it. And that really applies for like anything in your life. Like, you know, anything that you're struggling through, or if you're on a diet, right, and you're getting cravings, it's only your mind that's telling you want the sugar and the biscuit. And it's like the minute that you can control what you eat, and the minute that you can control how your internal, you know, the minute that you can do something every day that you don't want to, purely just to strengthen that, you can overcome anything.
It's a game changer. I mean, it was about probably nearly 3 years ago now. I was like, fuck, I'm not fit anymore. Like I used to be when I was younger. I used to be fit. I used to do a load of sport, and I remember I was like, okay, I'm probably in the worst shape I've ever been in. Don't do any exercise, eat shit, spend too much time in the car, too much time in the office. I don't do anything. So I was like, okay, I need to get fit. I need to lose some weight and get a bit healthier. And she was a PT and nutritionist. And for me, it was the best thing I could have ever done, because I worked with her for about 6 months, and it was just having that person that held you accountable.
Yeah.
Like if I got to the end of the week, I'd tracked all my food, all the exercise, everything like that. And if I got to the end of the week and I'd had a slip up, or I didn't go to the gym, or whatever, she'd be on me going, the fuck are you doing? And it makes you feel really bad. But I worked with her for 6 months, and then it's got me into a routine, whereas now I still track a lot of the food that I eat, but now I'm in the mindset that I pretty much eat what I want as long as I exercise. I try and exercise every day, no matter what it is. Like as long as I do something. And I think it's once you change that mindset to, all right, I'm not going to be a fat, lazy bastard. I'm going to go out and do some shit. It really makes a massive difference.
Yeah, I think there's this conception, or this misconception that like, oh well, like I've not got an hour to exercise, so I might as well not do it.
No,
you know what I mean. But it's like it's every little helps. It really is. It's like, you know, people like, oh well, I don't have time to go for a 5K. Well, do you have time to go for a 1K?
Just go out.
Just go out. Something. Just do something every single day. So it's like, you know, like it like with the cold bath, it's like do 15 seconds every day. Like how much time out of your life, you know, you could be out and dry in a minute.
Yeah, it's. I think it's the cold bath, as you say, is all in your head.
Completely,
100%,
completely, to the point where I got even my mum, who is a very stubborn traditional lady, in the freezing cold winter water. And it's like, but you have to let someone discover it on their own terms, that they are capable of it. And I think that the biggest, is there feedback?
No.
It's out there. And I think that the biggest
I
problem...
don't think it's coming through the mics. Tiny bit.
All good.
We'll be all right.
I think that the biggest problem with our society right now is like a global level of non-self-belief.
100%.
Like people will probably watch my videos and go, I couldn't do what he does. I don't fucking do anything.
No.
I just do something on video repetitively. And it's the same, like, if you want to become a global megastar, if you want to become the next best athlete, like, it just starts in your brain. And I think that everyone should be doing something every single day that makes them feel uncomfortable, because otherwise you live a life of comfort, and the life of comfort is where you just are average.
Makes sense.
And the thing is, the definition of average is all scaled to that person. And I think that, like, I always say this, like, my definition of a loser is someone that a loser is someone who will never reach their full potential through their own doing.
Because they just don't try.
Yeah, because they don't try. I have many friends that could literally be the next YouTuber or the next this and the next that. And so that's their potential. And so, like, but you're a loser if you never even go for it and never reach that potential because you're too fixed up in alcohol or seeing girls or whatever. Because ultimately, like, you'll regret that.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny you say about global megastars. Have you seen the documentary about Boyzone?
No.
Oh,
no.
shit. Like that.
Is it good?
I didn't know half the shit that went on with Boyzone. Because obviously when you're a couple of years younger than me, but when Boyzone for me was just like a massive boy band. And I don't know what happened. I don't know why they broke up. It just kind of fizzled out. Watch that.
Really?
It is eye-opening.
Is it Amazon?
Sky.
Oh, it's Sky. I don't even have Sky, so
I'm sure you can.
you're doing better than me, mate.
I'm sure you
I'll
can
have to
find it
torrent
somewhere.
that or hack that or something.
I'll have a little drink as well.
Yeah, I never heard myself swallow like that.
So, a couple of little rapid fire questions.
Of course.
If you could DJ anywhere in the world or film or live stream anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Coachella main stage for a DJ set, but the DJ set starts.
Oh, you've thought about this.
I already know what I visualized this.
Have Coachella been in touch?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, but I visualize like everything that I know will. Okay, I visualize stuff to the point where I know that it will happen.
Nice.
And the thing is, 16-year-old me would say, "Fuck off, you hippie," but I believe it and I still do it and it works. So anyway, Coachella main stage goes dead silent, and on the screens is me, but and obviously I'm connected to the sound and the audio, so it's like a proper DJ set, but I'm in the crowd. And like it would just like be the most chaotic thing ever, to the point where I start at the back of the crowd, start mixing my tunes, walk through the crowd, and then make my way onto the main stage. And that would be definitely something. We've had inquiries to do a similar thing where I paraglide and land behind the stage and then come on. So that's an option. So that would be for a festival DJ set. And then like for the mobile thing, it's like sightseeing with SUAT, and that would be traveling the ancient and modern wonders of the world, 7 of each.
Nice.
And basically like giving you an educational program that's fun and lighthearted and upbeat about, how many tons of bricks was in the Great Wall of China and how many years it took to build. And now we're at the halfway point, all kind of like in a Netflix series.
Very nice.
Yeah, you can tell I prepared for that
Yeah,
question.
yeah, definitely.
I didn't know these questions, by the way, that you were
No.
going to ask me.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
This is Chat GPT.
Shut up.
It is. It fucking is. It's yeah. You got to get on the train with it.
Dude, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love that.
You do you write a lot of your own music, right?
Yeah.
So is everything that you play your own music, or do you play what I'd class as like mainstream stuff as well?
No, I definitely don't play any mainstream stuff. But I play a combination of my music, my peers' music, and music that I get sent, basically. So, but it all falls under the bracket of house music, I guess, or tech house music. But no, I try not to play mainstream, not because I don't like it, but for copyright reasons.
Yeah.
If I play like a Beyonce track, all of the revenue from that video will go to Beyonce.
Is that how it works?
Yeah. So you've got to get. So I could play 50 tunes, okay, and one of them gets a copyright flag because it's basically released by a major label, and all of the revenue generated from that video will go to that one track.
All of the revenue generated from Instagram?
From the ads on that. So say YouTube, for example.
Yeah.
Say I've got an hour YouTube or 2 hour YouTube video. I play, I don't know, 30 tracks on it. And if one of those tracks gets flagged by the person that published it, all of the revenue from that video goes to that one person.
Fuck.
Yeah. So so I just now basically play what's called unreleased music. So stuff that's unsigned. And that allows me to kind of navigate through that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck Beyonce.
If you could collab with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be? So somebody that you could maybe do a video with, someone you could maybe just do like a sponsored post together, who you would get on one of your videos.
Yeah, Mark Rebellet comes to mind. He is a musician, but a very improvisational musician.
Okay.
He uses like a loop deck and keyboards, but then he'll rap about like, you know, the green shoes over there in the corner, and it's completely off the cuff. Like there's no preparation, and he'll take like his audience and ask them to, you know, you say one word, it might be Red Bull. No, let's not say Red Bull. You say one word, it might say Rockstar.
Yeah.
And this guy will say purple earrings, right? And then he'll make a song off the cuff about that. So that kind of level of like improvisation and off the cuff is something that I try and do in my videos, except mine's more comedy, his is more musical. So that would be a dream collab. In terms of like musical artist.
Yeah, who's one that you like, you look at and think, fuck, they're good?
I would say the Gorillaz were a highly influential group that got me kind of into electronic music. Would I want to collab with them? No.
Probably a little bit difficult.
No. And again, this is going to be someone that not many people have heard of, but there's a guy called Beardy Man who was like the viral.
Why do I know Beardy Man?
He was like the first beatboxer.
Yes.
So he would
I feel like I'm going back like 15 years.
This is 20 years.
Yeah.
This is old, and this is like the Beardy Man got me into beatboxing, and beatboxing got me into like loop pads and synths, which is kind of an influence of mine. But yeah, Beardy Man was like, that was the first video that I watched, and this is probably 15 years old, and he basically, you know, he's got loads of empty pots and pans, and he shows you the recipe for a good track, but all of them are empty. So he says, you know, in here is a kick drum, and he makes the kick drum noise with his mouth, and he tilts it, and you know, and then he incorporates all of these different things into a bowl to make a beat. And that was one of the first kind of influences of combining creator and musician, or not even musician. I don't know what you call a beatboxer. Yeah.
Pretty talented.
Yeah. Powerful lipped musician. So yeah.
Happy wife.
Yeah.
Happy wife.
Happy wife or boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Beardy Man, and you know, don't get me wrong, I think Michael Jackson is a legend. I think that Prince's music is phenomenal. But would I want to collab with them? No, because I don't resonate with them that much. But whereas the two that I mentioned, Mark Rebellet and Beardy Man, they're really like influences for me, and I believe like they're pushing the envelope, and that's something that I intend to do. I'm not saying that Michael Jackson didn't push the envelope, but he's an artist, like
100%,
a musical artist.
Yeah. I mean, I saw something the other day that was somebody listening to Michael Jackson music, and they were like, "Oh, is it okay to listen to Michael Jackson music?" It's like, yeah, I mean, I think it is.
Yeah.
The music that he put out was great. If you have it on your conscience not to listen to it, fine. Like that's on you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the artists of, you know, like the 1800s were all criminals.
Yeah.
You know, so like, but that doesn't mean you look at a Pablo Picasso and go, no, that's shit because of what, because of
what he
his
did.
moral compass. No, it's the art. That's the whole thing of art. It's timeless. It's limitless. So like, you look at it for what it is subjectively. Do you enjoy it or not? If you don't, then it doesn't. Or if you do, then it doesn't matter what that person did. In my opinion.
Yeah. As long as you don't take them for that, I guess is
For sure. For sure.
Have you? This guy popped up the other day on TikTok. It's a guy called, I don't fucking know his name. R-E-D Music. This guy who does, I've got to show you because I've never seen anyone like this. And he does, is it Red Music? Fuck. REM, maybe.
REM.
Oh, Ren Makes Music. Like this guy.
Oh, Ren.
Yeah.
I know this guy. Let me see him. Yeah, he had a video a few years ago where he did a cover of a. Yes, I know this guy. Yeah, I know this guy.
Like, I don't know anything about him.
No.
But I saw that cover of The Police and then his one of Bob Marley and was like,
Sure.
oh my God.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
This guy is an impersonator. But then I didn't realize he raps as well. He does like loads of rapping.
Yeah, I think, the thing with covers is like, it's like taking a melody, or it's like taking inspiration from a musical track and remixing it or reinventing it. And I think that covers that are done in his way, that's fair game. Do that and take it as far as you want. Like, if you can reimagine an already amazing song into a new light, then great. And that's what that's a great example of fantastic covers. Whereas there's some people that would just sing it like the original. Yes, that is a cover, but that's never gonna make anyone feel a certain way about it. That's just gonna be like, oh yeah, that sounds like Adele.
Yeah, and I think it's, we were talking earlier about the fact that people can make it. He obviously makes a career now from being effectively a musician on TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't know whether he's got a record label. He might have a record label, but he is now making his money making music videos.
Yeah, exactly. And I've actually kind of followed his journey because I saw his video, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago. He had a big video on YouTube and, he was skint. And so, like, would you ask him, like, if you ask him now, are you happy? He'd say, fuck yeah, because I'm doing what I've always done and always loved, and now I'm making some money out of it. And there's this saying that's going around between me and Josh and some of the Synthfo team, and it's like, it's a 10-year overnight success. And like, people see the video that blows up and they don't see the 501 videos that have gone before that.
The 5 a.m. drives with coffee and spending nights in shitty hotels.
Yeah, learning how to, like, what cable do I need to plug into the back of this, and why is that cable not working with that? And
don't know if you could let me know. That'd be absolutely ideal.
Yeah, but it's all of this like trial and error. And I feel like we live in an age where it's like, oh, just get someone, outsource that shit. But at the start, you can't. You have to do everything yourself as a creator, especially a creative artist. You got to write the music, film the music video. You've got to publish it online. You've got to network with all the people. Like, it's one thing, being a property developer and saying, yeah, we need this and we need that, and then getting everyone else to assemble it. But one of the hardest jobs, I believe, right now is being a successful artist, because there's so many things that you have to stay on top of. Much like your guys in motocross and like, the athletes. But when you're an artist, you have to film the video, you have to make the beats, you have to, promote them, you have to be on social media, you have to have a brand and a personality, because it's not, we all know it's not just about the music anymore, it's about the brand and what you can sell ultimately.
You could have the best music or be the best athlete and be the
and
best at this, and people might not give a shit.
No one will know your name, exactly like I said at the start. Like, I know the best guitarist on the planet and no one else knows who he is. An artist, that you have to be able to do a lot, especially at the start, because you don't have a team around you and you don't have the budget to pay an editor and to pay a PR person and do all of these things. So it's tough to get to that level. And I know that guy has been doing this for time, because I saw him about 6 years ago doing it.
He's been grinding,
and
hey, that fits quite well.
The grind
just came off the tongue.
You just spat it out.
Yeah. It does. Is that the 10-year overnight success? And I think so many people don't think about that. They look at whether it's musicians, sports people, influencers, all that kind of shit, and go, oh, all of a sudden it just happened.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, there is a defining moment of which all of a sudden it went from nothing to 100, but to get from nothing to that point has taken a lot of years and a lot of graft
For sure.
to make it there. So we'll wrap up in a minute. So what's coming up this year? What have you got coming on? I know last year you did a load of festivals.
Yeah, kind of just slogging it a bit at the end of last year, like doing a lot of stuff with brands. Like as of late, I've been doing some brand stuff. Like just did something with Clipper, got something with Boots, and
Have you got big load of tea at home?
I don't actually have any product from them.
No.
You know? No.
Oh.
How bad is that?
They do a good mint. They do a really good mint tea.
They do, yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Look, and this isn't a paid promotion or whatever, but like sometimes I've worked with people I don't necessarily super believe in the brand, but this like I really do. And like when you go from drinking like normal tea, like you know regular bleached tea bags, to unbleached organic tea, you can actually taste the difference.
Didn't even know bleached tea bags was a thing.
Any white tea bag has got bleach in it.
Wow.
Yes. And unless it says it's organic, it's been made with pesticide. Like the tea has got pesticide on it.
Is that why Yorkshire Gold? Is Yorkshire Gold not bleached?
That's bleached.
Fuck.
You just like the taste of bleach.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I don't drink much tea anymore.
Yeah.
Don't drink much tea.
Yeah, I think caffeine is the enemy. But yeah, anyway, this year, closing off some brand deals at the start of this year, and I just really want to fall in love with being SUAT again and going about the country and kind of that spontaneity and just being creative with it. The past couple of years have been great in terms of building my profile. Now it's time to kind of do stuff that I fall in love with again. So I'm really working on that. I've been working on music in the studio. Last year I said I was going to release it. The year before I said I was going to release it. I probably won't release it this year, so I'm not going to say on a podcast that I will. But yeah, man, like I'm in a fortunate position where I can strategically make my next moves, and I'm in no rush. So that's what's happening this year. Obviously, white watering. I want to get a Dex on the motocross bikes out there, and yeah, just kind of take each day as it comes in terms of doing what I enjoy. If I can push the envelope and do an extreme DJ set, I'll be doing it.
Yeah, nice. So there's probably going to be about 10 people that watch this and 10 people that listen. But anyway, where can those 10 people find you?
10 people's better than 0 people.
Exactly.
And also, like, that doesn't matter. If you can affect one person positively, then that's the point of this podcast.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If someone's listened to even just the first 10 seconds where we had a good moment and they've taken some inspiration from it, then that's a win.
Ideal.
That's worth
But
it.
yeah, so your Instagram, TikTok,
Yeah.
YouTube.
It's SUATism. So that's SUATism. Now, people think that I've basically misspelled autism, and they see my they see my personality online, and they think that I'm playing into the fact that I'm autistic. It's not that at all. It's SUAT, okay, which is my brand
And your middle name.
and my middle name. And ism, if you Google what ism means, it's like the characteristics and qualities of a thing. So it's the characteristics and qualities of SUAT, which is
Ideal.
SUATism.
It's very unique anyway.
Thank you.
And you'll definitely find it.
Yeah,
Perfect. Should we wrap it up?
I can keep going. I'm happy.
No, I
happy
think
when you are.
No, we're good. You know, we've done an hour and a half now, and thank you very much. Appreciate you taking the time. Hopefully it's not flopped. Hopefully it's been good. I think everything's going to go well.
I'm happy with it. It looks great.
Yeah.
If not, we'll just re-record it.
Yeah, perfect. But no, I think, thank you for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Oh, good man.
And yeah, we'll sort of see when this all goes, hopefully, up.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Back next week on the grind.
Fingers crossed. But yeah, thank you very much, mate. Appreciate you.
Can I do the clapperboard?
Yeah,
That's the outro.
Yeah, you crack on.
This has been The Grind.